Okay, I'm back. I'm working on my 69 C10 Chevrolet pickup, and what I have done is put a one-wire alternator and got rid of the external voltage regulator setup. I'm going to leave my external voltage regulator there. I didn't want to go this way because I want to keep it, as factory as I could be, but it is what it is. My wiring harness has not ever been molested except for me doing it, so I was happy about that. So hopefully it can still help you with your wiring harness if it's been spliced into. You may have to dig a little further than I did to find the stuff, but it should all be the same. I watched a few videos on this. I didn't get a whole lot of information, I felt like, and because I was just confused on some stuff. But anyways, I went and bought this pigtail plug-in from AutoZone or something. Heck, you can even find them online. So what I've done is, this is my old one. It hooks up to the external voltage regulator. I've got it disconnected, so I'll just go ahead and plug this in. Oh, well, let me say what wires are on here. You got a brown wire, red wire, white wire, and a blue wire. The white and blue, if you have the factory setup, the white and blue run up to your factory alternator setup, okay? And the way this pigtail goes on here is your brown wire is on the bottom of this voltage regulator. So it will plug in just like that. And your brown wire's down here, okay. So all this was factory wrapped, like coming off the alternator, all that was factory wrapped. And I had to cut into it, and I traced it down to this junction right here. And it also had this black wire up here on the alternator. It was a ground strap, and it ran along here, and it actually tied into right here, and I cut it off right here. That's just a grounding thing, and that's where you want to cut it off at, because your headlights and stuff ground off this, so you want to leave all that, and I was fine with doing that. I'm just going to tape it up and clean all this up. But I figured before I cleaned it all up and put it all in wire loom, I think I can go ahead and explain this to y'all. So I removed that. That was the only cutting I had to do on the ground wire. The other end, where's that? The other end bolted up to the alternator. So that came off, and then let me get my voltage out of the way. Okay, now this wiring harness was all the way up here, and if you have a factory alternator, you'll be able to tell it plugged right into the back of it, and it was able to come off. Okay, and the only other wire that I cut off of this is there is a brown wire right here. This goes to your ignition, and it will run along this harness underneath your fender well back here, and it's like one of these back here on this junction box. So you want to leave enough out that way you can splice into it. And this wire right here, it was what was cut right here. So I lied. I cut 3 wires. You had your red wire that went right here, and then the brown wire that went right here. Okay, I cut that, and then I had to cut the ground from right here, which that ain't no big deal. So that's the only 2 cuttings I had to do, just in case I kept it, in case I ever, some wild hair reason, want to go back to external regulator, but I really highly doubt it. So with all that out of the way, that red wire that came off of the plug, I spliced in and it hooked up to the pigtail. So it's right here, the pigtail of the red wire, okay? Now the brown wire, I spliced it in, and the only color I had was purple, so forgive me on that. And you'll see my purple wire ran up, and I spliced it into the white wire, okay? And then obviously you had like one that ran to the battery, and that is that one. And I did not mess with it other than unhook it, set it out of the way until I got my new alternator on. That's pretty much it. I hope this video worked out pretty good. It really was relatively easy. People, I feel like, we're complicating this, and I don't understand why. Because some of the videos I was showing, it wouldn't show you where you tied this wire pigtail in, and it showed you this, and then sometimes it's like, oh, well, that was optional, you know? Well, there ain't nothing optional for me. Like, I don't like leaving an open hole. If that brown wire is there, that's exactly where I'm going to do it. So I actually ended up reading a forum that really explained it a lot better for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've already hooked it up, I ran it, nothing melted, so I mean, that's good. The only thing I would suggest doing is, I only had a 14 gauge wire, and I think the wire that came out of here, this is the red wire, and the one up here, that was a 12 gauge, but I only had a 14. I think 14 would be fine. And also, the white wire went to that number 1 deal, and then the number 2 was that. So everything seems to be working normal. I just really got tired of, man, my truck was not charging. Like, it charged for a little bit, the external voltage regulator would go out, the alternator would go out, and everybody swears by this, so I'm just giving it a shot. The alternator number I used, and I may change my mind later on getting higher output. I don't run anything but the factory stuff in there. This is the number right here. That's the one I use. I got it from AutoZone, and I'm just gonna give it a shot and see what happens. I hope this video really helps. Like I said, I couldn't make heads or tails of a lot of people, but that's why I left all my wiring out, because I was gonna try to shoot a video, and hopefully that helps, because I left all my wire out for you to see before I taped it up. If you have any questions or comments, just put them in the comment box below, and I'll see if I can help you out. Thanks for watching.